Hey, good morning, everyone. I think it's still morning. What a morning I've had. Let me tell you, I needed to treat myself to this. You just fell a little bit. To this delicious iced coffee. And you'll agree once I get through this story. So, yesterday, I can't remember if I saw both of my silky hens. I know that one I just couldn't seem to find. And then when it became evening time and time to lock them up, I couldn't find the other. I physically cannot get on the ground every night or, a couple of times during the day and look under that coop. I just can't. With my spinal cord and this left shoulder reconstruction thing, I just can't. So I just, ask God to protect them wherever they are. I mean, I'm doing the best that I can. But this morning when I went out to let the chickens out, one of my silkies came out, and I was putting out fresh food and fresh water, and that silky ran into the coop and went into one of the nesting boxes. And there was no egg. I had took an egg out yesterday. The one she was sitting on, I took it out because, I didn't see her and I didn't want to leave eggs in there. And so she ran in the chicken coop and went up in that nesting box. Meanwhile, when all of my other chickens came out, they were acting very upset. And, they usually come out of that coop in the morning very happy. It's usually the gosling and Lady Jane, the first two out. And then the others come out and they make all kinds of noises and stretch, and you can tell they're happy to be out. Well, this morning they came out, but they seemed all upset. I thought, are they upset because the two silkies weren't in there during the night and now one ran in there and I still don't know where the other one is? Well, I went into the coop to check on that silky that ran in there. Are you ready for this? I have the 3 nesting boxes in a row. 1, 2, 3. On the side of one wall, there's 2 other nesting boxes on top of each other. Well, the silky had ran into the 3rd nesting box, and I was in the coop looking at her, and I happened to look over into the 1st nesting box where there was not a hen, but there was a snake. He had his head down, and the rest of his long, thick body stretched across, I guess I'd call it a rafter, the beam there that goes across the top of those nesting boxes. And I could see the shape of an egg inside of the snake. I don't know my snakes. I assumed it was a chicken snake or a rat snake, or it's also called a black snake. Black snake, chicken snake, rat snake are all the same snake, is what I've learned. But where I come from, we don't have this. We have garter snakes and some kind of snake out at some lakes, but I don't know if they're growing up in Massachusetts and growing up in the lakes, swimming and everything. I never was warned to watch out for the snakes. Growing up with my cousins, we were told that the lakes had snakes, but I don't remember ever being told they were venomous up there. Texas, different story. Texas is, well, I've never been to the Amazon jungle. Now, where'd that guy come from? But I've known missionaries that have spent a lot of time in the Amazon. Did that shut off? Oh. And I imagine Texas, especially with this heat dome we're having, is like the Amazon jungle. And so there's so many different kinds of snakes down here. And I've never learned the difference. I've tried to read about it. I've tried to learn the difference in the shape of their heads, the shape of designs that are on them. Hey, but let me tell you, when you're that close to a snake, I'm not spending time looking at the pattern that the snake has on it. I'm watching that head, those eyes, and that mouth, and I don't know how far a rat snake or chicken snake can strike out. I don't know. And so I quickly grabbed that hen and got her out. And I have a pet carrier that actually is for somebody else, but I haven't met up with the person yet. They need a pet carrier to take their cat in August to get fixed, and someone had this was a couple weeks ago, someone had a bunch of free stuff outside their house, and I saw that pet carrier, so I stopped and got it and brought it home, and it opens and shuts, and I disinfected it, and I let my friend know that they can have this. In the meantime, it's been in my yard in front of my bench, so I grabbed my silky hen and I brought her over there and I put her in that pet carrier, because she won't stay in my yard on her own. She keeps running over to the roosters and the other chickens. I had to get her out of that coop. Meanwhile, the gosling, has to be everywhere I am. I'm trying not to step on the gosling. And all my chickens were upset, and they were all crowding me in. I guess they think that I'm to protect them against that snake. My landlord's niece and her husband that live a stone's throw right in front of my trailer. We're on the same land. They were gone to work. This was early this morning. And so there's couple other people that rent out trailers on that land. And I went knocking on doors. I was banging on doors like I was the cops. I mean, I needed help. Thankfully, one person was outside with his dog, and so I asked him, if he could come help somehow, and he got his wife to get the dog in, and he came over, and he said, oh, that snake has to be about 4 feet long. Meanwhile, I'm calling the landlord, and I couldn't get a hold of him. That's the other thing. My phone is really acting up. This was not my plan this morning, to be wrangling a snake. My plan was to get up and take care of the animals, do chores, and go to a cell phone company. And I'm hesitant to go because I know they need to make sales and they're going to push me to buy a new phone, which I just cannot. I want to know if I should factory reset my phone, but then do I lose you? Do I lose my contacts? Do I lose photos? I don't know, but my phone is, I cannot get any of the comments that are on my shorts. Thankfully, yesterday I got to see a couple and respond to them about the baby blanket, but this morning I went to look and I can't get to them. I can't hardly comment on any videos before when I'm making the comment, and my phone will just shuffle, I guess is what you'd say. It'll bring me to another video. It'll stop in the spell check. I mean, it's a mess. And so I couldn't get a hold of the landlord. I didn't know if it was my phone or what. Well, he had called me back twice, but I never heard the ringing. So I did manage to get a hold of him. He said he was sending over one of his handyman that was out at his property doing something. That is just about 5 minutes away. And I was standing there, and Mark had a long pole, and he had a nail in it already for something. He was trying to grab the snake. I said, you really need a pole with a hook, like a crochet hook. And I found a hoe, and I had my rake, and I had a long stick, and I didn't know what to do with anything I had. And that snake, Mark was trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do, because like I say, you really needed something with a hook. And he brought a golf club. The more that he aggravated that snake was going back and forth, those nesting boxes, not back and forth, the rafter hissing, striking at the that pole. And he was on the outside reaching in with the pole, and I was inside the coop, which was not smart because you have to duck to get in, you have to duck to get out. There's not much room for a human to be in there, you know, dealing with that, because you got to move fast. That snake moves so fast. So he said he was going home to get something else, I forget, and he lives on the land in a trailer. So that meant I was left alone with the snake. And I'll tell you, I was calling on God. I quoted so much scripture to that snake. You know, I mean, I just went from one scripture to another. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not fear. God's not given us a spirit of fear, but of a sound mind. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth in and they're safe. And I went on and on and on, just running all the scriptures together that would come to my mind. And that snake would look at me, and oh, it was so mean, and I was upset with it for taking that egg. And my chickens are outside all upset, and one was trying to get in, my Easter egger, and I had to make sure she stayed out. It was hectic. I did not want the snake to get out without being captured or killed. I know they say that rat snakes are good because they keep rats and mice. They go after those, but let me tell you, they'll go after your chicken eggs. And I'm not too surprised if a chicken snake wouldn't kill little baby peeps, even though they didn't eat them, they killed them. I'm not too sure. They say that they don't, but I don't know. I think if a snake's hungry enough, it will do something. Oh man. And then, well, I'm standing in the coop, a little bit bent over, which makes me, you know, closer to it if it were to reach out and strike. It lifted its head and started coming towards me. It wasn't afraid of me. Well, I'm waiting on, you know, the handyman to come. I'm waiting on Mark to get back from whatever he was doing. I'm hoping the other guy would wake up, the one whose trailer I had banged on, but I also had called. And finally he returned Mark's call and said he would come over. Finally, they all showed up at once. 2 handymen and the neighbor Mark showed up. But by that time, the snake got out. It got out. It stuck its head out of that nesting box in the back, and I had lifted up the hoe, and it slithered so fast. I mean, in a blink of an eye, it slithered down the side of the chicken coop and under the coop, and my Silky that I couldn't find came running out from underneath the bottom of the coop. So that's where she was. When she came running out, I dropped the hoe, and all my chickens started running again, and another rooster flew out of the chicken yard. The gosling was honking and coming close to me. I didn't want to step on it. Those 3 were coming to help, and Ronnie had a 409 bottle that he had put some bleach in with some water. And well, what happened to the first handyman was, instead of coming just the 5 minutes up the road from the landlord's house, he went clear across town out to the lake where he lives to get a snake catching kit. I never saw the kit because, you know, well, I'll tell you. Anyway, once I told them, hey, that snake is under the coop, and my little Silky just came running out. I don't think that this ground is so hard, it's like concrete because we're in this drought. I don't think he's had time to go underground. He's still under that coop and he has to come out. So the one handyman with the bottle of 409, which was bleach and a little bit of water, got on his hands and knees and got behind the coop and was spraying under. I got in front of the coop with the long stick and I'm poking because the sides of the coop on the bottom, there's wood there, and so you can't stick anything underneath from the sides. And I'm poking and I'm praying, oh God, don't let that snake come out real quick out this front and get me, and don't let it get him in the back. And it came out the side somehow, even though with those rudders, you know, a snake they can get in places. And it came out, and I yelled and I said, it's on this side. And the one handyman grabbed the hoe. The other one, somehow he held down the snake, I think his foot. And the one handyman was going to chop him. And the other one said, no, let me catch him. And I'll rehome them somewhere because they're good to have. And at that point, I said, whatever. I'm not happy with that snake taking that egg and harassing my chickens and my gosling and me. And I got everyone out here. And so the one caught him. I have pictures of him holding it alive. It's about 4 to 5 feet long. I don't know if it looks like that in the picture, but in person it sure does. And you can see, you know, the egg. And so the neighbor went. I said, all I have is a bucket without a lid, and I have a trash bag that has hay in it. But the trash bag had holes in it. So the other neighbor went and got a plastic tote, you know, Sterilite tote with a lid. And they, excuse me. I'm very parched. They put the snake in the tote and put the lid on and went their merry way. But, whew, I'll tell you, that was not good for the heart rate issue that I've been having. I mean, I was pretty sure the Lord would protect me, but I didn't want to entertain that snake. And boy, it was fast. That snake was so fast. And so I don't know. I didn't tell you. A couple days ago in our driveway was a snake. It was dead. Someone had run it over. I don't know if my landlord's niece's husband, if he ran it over. I do know that he didn't. Let me say that. At the time, I didn't know if he did, but I have found out he didn't. Because they had left out a few minutes before me, and then I saw the snake in the driveway, its head smushed. So I don't know where it came from. I don't know if someone killed it and tossed it over into our driveway. I don't know. But the one guy said, well, that was a chicken snake. And then I found out, I heard that usually snakes run in pairs. So I'm learning the hard way about them. And I don't know if everything I'm hearing and reading is true. Except I know that they will go after your eggs. I can't believe 5 years I've been raising chickens. And this year has been just terrible. Now with this snake, and then whatever killed all my peeps before, I don't know why. I just don't know. But let me tell you, after I calmed down, which took a long time, I was thinking about it. Amazingly, I thank God for his protection on me and on my chickens and the eggs that I've been able to collect. But think about it. It's been more than one time now that I've had to get on my hands and knees at night when it's pitch black out there and not enough space between the chicken coop and the ground, you know, with the flashlight on my phone. And I've been poking under there. what if there was a snake under there and me poking at night could have aggravated it and it could have come out real quick, got my fingers. I've had to go in the chicken coop at night when I've come from church and I only have the flashlight on my phone and I go in there to count all my chickens. What if a snake had been up on one of those rafters and I spooked it and it had reached down and striked me? I mean, I have to thank God for protection, I don't know what I can do. It's part of living out in the semi-country. All these subdivisions coming up around on my road are driving wildlife out. I don't know. Tractor Supply sells a thing called Snake Away. It's granules or something, and I may have to go look at it and see if it's safe if you have chickens and read on it. Somebody told me that all Snake Away is crushed mothballs, and the person that told me that owns a pest control company, but also told me that mothballs are very poisonous to the chickens. So, I mean, I can't get mothballs and crush them up and throw them under the coop or in the coop if they're poisonous to chickens. And if the Snake Away has mothballs in it, I don't want to pay for it and use it around my chickens. And I don't think it's that cheap, but I will do without something to protect my chickens and my gosling and my eggs and me. Oh Lord. I mean, my heart rate was, I could feel it. I could just feel my heart. And I felt like I was just sweating through all my clothes. It wasn't really an anxiety attack or a panic attack, even though it sounds like that. I was not panicking. I think I was too shocked to panic. Oh boy. So, now what was I going to say? There was something else. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. I don't know. I said that I would come back to that, or I would explain more. Oh, so that's why I didn't get to see the snake kit that the other guy had, is because he had it, I guess, in his truck because he went all the way home to get it. But then they put that snake in that tote. And so if any of you regular followers could let me know about factory reset. I have an Android. I don't have an iPhone. And I don't want to lose you. And I don't want to lose my emails. And I don't want to lose my videos. And I don't want to lose this. And I don't want to lose that. And I don't know if factory reset will lose that. But I need this phone to function. God, please make it function like it's supposed to. Because this phone for me is a necessity. So, Lord, touch this phone. Make it work properly. I have shut it off the whole time I was at the laundromat yesterday. I shut it off. I've turned it on. I've hit the, not the power off, but like the reset where it'll shut down for a minute and then come back on. I've done that. I have not kept it in my pocket. I've been thinking that it's the heat. I thought it was YouTube. Maybe I should uninstall YouTube. But then when it was acting up just in the text messages and then not ringing for me when the landlord called, then it can't just be the YouTube. So 24 minutes. I'm really at a loss what to do. I thought if I go back to a cell phone company, I hope that it's those same two people that had helped me before when I was having trouble with the plan. And then I brought them some donut holes because I felt like they really went the extra mile. I thought, oh Lord, if it's those two, help them to be extra kind to me. And I know they need to make sales, but I'm not in a position where I can buy a new phone. So please don't let them push that on me. Please just let them have compassion. And if they know how to help with fixing this issue, then let them do that. I mean, I'm just so thankful that we can talk to the Lord just like I'm talking to you, and that God hears and that He cares and He understands and He does answer. And these things are just little trials and tests that we go through, but God's grace is sufficient and brings us through. And, oh Lord, keep the snakes away. So this probably is going to cut off. It says 25 minutes. And it will take forever to upload. And I apologize for my hair. I need to get a haircut. That was on the plan for this morning. But the day is getting away. And so that probably will have to wait till tomorrow. So I will talk to everyone later. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember to be kind to everybody because somebody's having a bad day. But God is still on the throne.